This is everything that I brought to Alaska to shoot brown bears on the coast in Lake Clark in Katmai National Park. Hi guys, my name is Alec and I'm a landscape photographer and a wildlife photographer. And I just wanted to highlight and to kind of explain everything that I brought to Alaska for my 5-day trip, and kind of like dive into why I brought it, and we can go from there. So I'm normally a Canon shooter. So I have my R5, and then I also have a 100 to 500 zoom lens. I wanted this for the adaptability of like where bears might be and how close. Obviously, like the 500 length is great, but sometimes, or a lot of times in these situations, the bears will get pretty close. Like we had one get between like 12 to 15 feet from us, and like using a more high-powered zoom lens that is a prime won't always have the ability like to capture what you want, especially if you have some pretty good backdrops. So the R5 and the 100 to 500. I also had my 70 to 200. This was more of a flight scene thing. When I like the ability to kind of zoom in a little bit more when we're flying, and to make sure that I either don't get the window in my shot or the plane wing. The planes that we were on were all top wing above the window. So being kind of able to crop in and, or not like cropping, but to zoom in and to be able to get the landscape without anything else was really key. However, I did find that because it was so bumpy on the flights, that the zoom lens was creating a bit of a little bit of a blur. So I ended up moving to a 24 to 70. This allowed me to get a much wider perspective, obviously, and kind of reduce the shake, and it was a little bit clearer, I found, and just like had less blur, even though I was shooting at like 1/2000, so it was a very quick shutter. So that leads me to the next kind of setup. So Sony sent me their A7R5 to test out, and I actually like really liked it. The tracking on it was phenomenal. I was able like to get the bears the focus point right on the nose, so that was awesome. I think kind of like the gem of the entire trip was the Sony 400 2.8 prime. This is a phenomenally sharp lens, as anybody can expect from a lens that costs $12,000 or more. But this one was absolutely amazing, and I got the most exquisite shots, and just am so stoked to dive in to everything that I got. I'm also really sad that I have to give it away or give it back because it was only a rental. But if you are wondering if you should rent a big boy lens for a Alaska wildlife trip, or just any wildlife trip, highly recommend it. The 2.8 obviously gives it a lot of bokeh, but it also allows you to keep your ISO low. Like there were some points of the trip when I was shooting this on like 1/2000, and my ISO was still 100. So that was really cool. It was awesome. I also brought this Manfrotto 055 tripod. It might have been too big. It is a heavy ass tripod. I wanted it mostly to be able to hold the 400, and like was a little bit worried that other tripods, it just wouldn't be able to hold it up. Carrying this one around was quite heavy. It weighs like maybe 5 pounds or so, which isn't like a lot, but if you're like walking with it, and especially you have like these on it, it gets to be pretty heavy. So it was great. It worked amazing. I also wanted it because it allowed for a little bit of the ability to pan on a video. It wasn't as smooth or as like easy as I would have liked, but it's also not like meant for a video tripod head. But if you do get a Manfrotto tripod and it requires like a clamp, make sure that you have the right base. I luckily had owned a Manfrotto before without even knowing it, so I had a base, or else I kind of would have been an SOL. I'm going to be writing more on kind of like this whole setup. I also brought 6 memory cards, and I was able to offload them every day at Lake Clark Resort, so that was really nice. And I think the first day when we saw the most bears was when I like almost maxed out the Sony camera. I ended up taking close to 5,000 photos in the entire day. That happens kind of when you do the burst mode, and like I was taking like 10 photos of the same thing. So that kind of like, that'll just happen, and you can delete them if you want. But then I think I had about 5 or 6 batteries. I never got even close to using those up because I was able to recharge the best ones every night. Otherwise, I like really think that this setup allowed me to capture like wide angle if I really wanted to with the 24-70, but then like really like hone in on the zoom lenses. And another reason why I brought them both was I put this one on a tripod, so it was like very clear and kind of like was able to do some video also. But then when I wanted to kind of change angles or get closer or zoom in or change my perspective, I was able to take out the 100 to 500 and really kind of create some more unique shots, while this one was kind of just like make sure that I get like the classics. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to subscribe, that'd be awesome, and you can follow me on Instagram at Alec Outside, and read my blog at explorewithalec.com. Thanks, and have a great day.